In this video, I'm going to show you how to make 4 delicious potato recipes, and we'll be starting with these savory, crunchy, delicious potato wedges. These are what we call Irish potatoes in Nigeria, and I'll be cutting them into wedges and setting it aside. Once cut, I'm going to give it a good rinse and transfer it to a boiling pot of water. I'll allow it to boil for about 5 minutes so that it's just halfway done. In a bowl, I'll add some all-purpose flour. I'll add some soya pepper powder because that's the flavor I want. And then I'll add some garlic, salt and parsley mix. And finally some curry powder. I'll give this a good mix till all the ingredients are well combined. Next, I'll add some water and then mix it so that we can form a paste. You don't want the paste to be too thick or to be too runny. Next, I'll transfer the boiled potatoes to a plate, preferably a flat plate, so that it can cool down. Make sure it cools down completely before we get to the next stage. Once it has cooled down completely, you can transfer it to the flour mixture and you're just going to rub it together so that it can coat the potatoes, and then we'll move on to the next stage. In a pan, add some vegetable oil because this is what we'll use to fry our potato wedges. Next, start transferring the potatoes that have been dipped in the flour mixture into the pan. Once you put them in, you don't need to mix it, just allow it to fry for a bit so that it forms before you turn to the other side. And you're going to fry this for about 2 to 3 minutes or till it is golden brown as you like. This is just one of those ways I like to make chips for my family because it's a different flavor, it is crunchy, you guys, it is crispy, and my family loves it so much. If you're interested in options for meals to cook for your family, I have a food planner, aka food timetable, which is very, very important for busy people and just everyday people. It gives you ideas, inspiration on what to cook for your family. I'll have it linked down in the description box so that you can download your copy. Now that we're done frying, I'm going to add butter to a pan and just allow this to melt a bit. And next, I'm going to add some chopped garlic. I really love this stage of this recipe because this is where all the flavor comes in. I'm adding some crushed peppers and it gives it a lot of color, and I'm going to also add some chopped coriander, and this also gives color and flavor. Now we're going to mix everything and then reintroduce our wedges, our potato wedges. At this stage, turn off the heat so that the garlic does not burn and so that you still have that vibrant green color from the coriander. You can use parsley if you like, and then just mix everything together. This is what my potato wedges look like. They are so yummy, they look so beautiful and eye-catching, and everybody is going to love this recipe. So please give it a try, and as usual, tag me on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I would love to see you try this recipe. Next, I'll be showing you how to make sweet potato pottage. It's also a favorite recipe in my home. In a pot, I'm going to add some goat meat, some chopped onions, and I'll season with salt and beef seasoning. For a list of the ingredients, make sure you check the description box, it's going to be listed below. I'm going to steam this goat meat in its own juice initially, so I'm not going to add water. I'm just going to put it on the cooker, allow it to steam for a bit, and when I see that the water is drying up, then I will introduce water to the pot. This is a way to build flavor and for the goat meat to retain a lot of flavor. I'm using sweet potatoes for this recipe. This is what our sweet potatoes look like, and I feel like I have to mention that because I remember the first time I traveled abroad and I saw sweet potatoes there. It looks so strange and colorful, and I refuse to touch it. I'll also be using some sweet bell peppers, red ones, which are also known over here as tatashe. I feel like I consume a lot of sweet bell peppers. Just looking back now, I feel like I do. So I've blended it with some onions and I'm just going to put it on the cooker to boil to reduce. By now the meat is soft and I'm ready to just cut it into little pieces and put it in the oven just to grill for a bit. You guys know I love to do this step because I don't like naked meat in my food. I've said it before. And it boiled quickly because this is male goat meat. I've mentioned this before. If you are going to the market to buy goat meat from your butcher, tell them to give you male goat meat. It tends to be softer and more enjoyable. But female goat meat, very stubborn, very tough. You will boil that goat meat for 10 hours, it will still be hard. So you need to request for male goat meat when you are buying in the market. You don't have to use goat meat. You can use just beef, cow beef. You can use ram. You can use anything you like, but I just like to see beef in this pottage. Now, for this recipe, I'm using uziza leaves and I'm using ugu leaves. I love the combination of ugu and uziza, and that's my typical go-to vegetable for anything. Let's say egusi soup or bono soup. I like to mix both of them. If you watched the Instagram live I did with Bella Naija, you would have noticed that I did not use ugu and uziza vegetable. I actually used shoko, which I guess they also call wild spinach. You can also use spinach. So it was the mood I was in that determined the vegetable I was using. So you can use any type of vegetable you like. Just make sure you're happy with the taste at the end of the day. So now let's make this pottage. In a pot, I'm going to put some palm oil. You can use vegetable oil, but I like palm oil for this recipe. And it's sweet potatoes. I just wanted to give it a different taste, a different vibe. So you're going to allow that palm oil to heat a bit, not bleach it, but hot enough. And then you're going to add some onion. Allow the onion to fry for a bit, and then we will introduce the next ingredients. Now that the onion is softer, I'm going to bring back the tatashe paste. So it has been boiling and it has reduced. This is going to quicken the sauce process. You know, if you haven't boiled it before now, it's going to take a while you're doing this process. So now I've just shortened it for myself. If you're watching to this stage, it means you're enjoying this video. Please click the like button. It lets me know that you want more recipes from me and it encourages me to make more videos. You know, when I see the video and I'm like, oh, they like it. Oh, maybe I should do more. So please click the like button. Thank you. I'm adding salt to taste, but not enough because I know I'm going to be adding a bit of the stock later on. I'm also adding beef seasoning, but like I said, not a lot because I know I'm going to be adding stock later on. And then I'm adding some Cameroon pepper. I love the depth it brings to this dish. And that's because sweet potato is sweet, so I wanted to balance out the flavors. Next, it's time to add the beef, and this is the goat meat I was talking about earlier. So this is a meat or beef-based sweet potato pottage. You can be flexible as you like. You can use fish instead if that's what you want. Of course, it's not going to taste exactly like mine, but like I said, you can use any kind of thing you want for this recipe. It's up to you and the flavors that you like. Next, we are going to add our delicious beef broth. So this is beef stock. and it's just going to complete the taste. I'm adding some water that we'll use to boil the sweet potatoes, enough to boil it, and then I'm just going to stir everything together. Next, I'm going to add the sweet potatoes to the sauce. So what I've already done is I've already peeled the sweet potatoes and I chopped them into cubes. They don't have to be uniform size, they just have to be into cubes. And this is the pottage style, I guess. So if you're making pottage, this is the size and the portion you're going to cut your yam or your sweet potatoes. Make sure you balance it out so that the potatoes will not be more than the sauce, and everything will be properly balanced out. So it's kind of like cooking jollof rice. If your sauce is not enough, it will affect the taste. If the sauce is too much, it will affect the taste. So just make sure the potato and the sauce is balanced. If you don't have sweet potatoes, you can use Irish potatoes, or you can use yam for this recipe, or you can even use cocoyam. How many of you eat cocoyam? Let me know in the comment section. After about 20 minutes, the sweet potatoes should be ready. As you can see, I don't like to leave my sweet potatoes like this. Some people like to see the whole potatoes in the pot like that. No, I like to make a little bit of mash, so I just mix it all around to have some mashy sweet potatoes. That's how I prefer it. So do this according to your preference. Now that I've mashed some of it, can't you see how yummy it is looking? You can see the bits of the beef around. This was so delicious. But let's finish. Let me finish. So I still have to add the vegetables. So I've just mixed them and I've washed them, and then I'm adding it to the pot. Add as much or as little as you like. So me, I like to see bits of vegetable. I don't want it to look like a foriro. So I'm just going to mix everything together and allow to cook for about a minute, because vegetables don't need a long time to cook. I mean, just look at my sweet potato pottage. This is a family favorite. You know, sweet potatoes are really sweet, so I really like them, and the kids like them because they're sweet. If you're not into sweet stuff, you can try with yam or Irish potatoes like I said, or you can try with cocoyam. So this is what my meaty sweet potato pottage looks like. It was so delicious. And let me confess, while I was filming this, I was starving. This was the most frustrating part, trying to take the pictures and just do this B-roll. It was stressful for me. If you guys like this recipe, please click the like button. If you try it out, please tag me on Instagram, Facebook, social media, anywhere. I'd love to see it. Next, we'll be making these pan-fried potatoes. You guys, this is so good. This is so delicious. It is also a favorite. I feel like I keep saying all of them are favorites, but I really love this recipe so much. For the ingredients, we have bell pepper. This is also known as tatashe. I'm also going to use an onion. This is tomato paste, so all I have here is just tomatoes, pepper and onion, blended and boiled to reduce. And then we have the star of the show, which is Irish potatoes. I'm starting off by peeling the potatoes with a potato peeler, and after peeling the potatoes, we're just going to chop them into big chunks. Because they are pan grilled, you want a large surface area, so just watch what I'm doing. If you don't have Irish potato, you can try using sweet potatoes. I've used them a long time ago, but not exactly for this recipe, but just something similar, and it was delicious. I feel like potatoes are so underrated. There's so much we can do with potatoes when it comes to Nigerian cooking. So I realized in Nigeria, we only use potatoes for like maybe porridge or chips. After that, you leave potato alone. But potatoes can be used for so many things, and I cannot wait to explore and show you guys what I've been using potatoes for. Do you use potatoes in a lot of your cooking? I want to know. And I feel like one of the reasons we don't really use a lot of potatoes, especially Irish potatoes, is because sometimes they can be pretty expensive. They are not exactly the cheapest. So people would rather buy yam than buy potatoes. But I'm telling you today, you need to give potatoes a try. If you're tired of rice and swallow and you're always like, oh, Nigerian food is boring, there's not a lot of options, you need to open your heart to potatoes and the magic you can make in Nigerian cuisine. Now that I've finished doing promo for potatoes, it's not like potato sent me a message. Now that I've finished, we're going to wash the potatoes and put them in a pot. I already have water boiling, so I'm going to add the boiling water to the pot just so that everything cooks quickly. I'm adding some salt and then I'll cover and allow to cook. While it is cooking, we will face the pepper. For the bell peppers, I'm just going to deseed them, just remove the seeds. What I've been doing with bell pepper seeds lately, or just pepper seeds, is I've been putting it in my backyard. There was a time I shared on Twitter my backyard and I had peppers that were grown and I was so proud of myself. So I tried to plant these pepper seeds, especially if you've not put them in the fridge. For the onion, I'm peeling off the skin and I'll cut it into big chunks. You can cut it into little chunks, but I just thought it was more visually appealing if you cut it into bigger sizes. Once the potatoes are cooked, I'll just drain it and then set aside. You don't want it to be too soft, because if it is too soft, it's not going to hold its form, when you're pan frying it. So you need it to just be about tender. I'm adding some vegetable oil to a pan and I'm just going to add the onion first. So I'm going to fry the pepper and the onion first before the potato. And that's because onion and pepper, they have such a lovely flavor that I want to transfer to the potato. So I'm frying it first. Frying the onion and the pepper does take a while. You have to keep constantly stirring it so that it does not burn, and it is cooked when the pepper has become soft. I like mine to become soft, not as hard as it is originally, and then there's this aroma you begin to perceive when it is cooked. I don't know if you know it, but once you're cooking, just open your nose. Open your nose, you perceive it, you know that, oh, this something is smelling sweet right now. So that's how you know it's cooked. Once I'm done frying the onion and bell pepper, I'll start off with the potatoes. So I just added a bit more oil and then transferring the potato to the pan. I want each part of this potato to be coated or just fried crisp. Do you understand? You're gonna see what I'm doing. So I just want each section to be browned. It's going to make this very, very yummy. You can actually put this in the oven, but I want this to be pan fried. This is how mine looks like and it tastes so good, just even at this stage. Once the potatoes are cooked, in the same pan, I'm just going to fry the pepper sauce. So I'm just putting like a spoon of pepper sauce and just frying it till it is cooked. I'm seasoning this pepper sauce with all-purpose seasoning, so it has like thyme, oregano, salt, basil. So it just has a bunch of ingredients, so it's going to give a nice flavor to the recipe. And then now I'm adding the pepper and just mixing everything together. Once it's cooked, taste it, then add the potatoes and allow everything to just cook together. You just have to stir fry at this point, so you just keep mixing till it's well incorporated. I wish you guys could actually taste what this was like. It was way better than all the versions I've been doing before, and in the previous version I was using green pepper, but I really don't think you need green pepper for this recipe. I just used the red bell peppers and it was so lovely. Just look at how beautiful these pan fried potatoes look like. Like I said, you can try with sweet potatoes. I haven't tried this exact recipe with sweet potatoes, but it just might work. Next is this potato recipe that I use sweet potatoes for, and I always do it anytime I have ram, which is a few times during the year. So we're going to be using Cameroon pepper because I love it. We're also going to be using Royco goat meat seasoning because it's perfect for this recipe. I'm also going to be using some salt, also some dry pepper because you know I'm a pepper girl. And then this is the ram meat we're going to be using. I love ram, especially the skin is so white and soft. We're going to be using green pepper and red pepper and some carrots and some onion and sweet potatoes. We're also going to be using scent leaf because this is perfect in pepper soup. I absolutely love it. And then this pepper soup spice, this is one of my favorite pepper soup spice, so if you find it in a supermarket, make sure you get it. I'm going to put the ram in the pot and then add my seasoning, my salt, my peppers, my seasoning cube, onion, and I'm going to mix everything together. I'm not going to add water because it is going to bring out some of its own juice, and this is how I like to boil my meat and my chicken. Makes it absolutely delicious. After about 10 minutes, we're going to go back to the pot. You can see the juice there, and I'm just going to stir it and add some more water because we're going to be adding the pepper soup spice now, and we're going to be adding the potatoes. I'm also going to be adding my carrots now because I want them to soften by the time the sweet potatoes are ready. And you guys know sweet potatoes, they don't take long to cook. In like 10-15 minutes they are cooked, especially because they've been cut in small pieces. I'm going to also add my red pepper and green pepper after the potatoes have cooked for about 5 minutes. To be honest, the first time I was making this dish, I was very skeptical about adding the green pepper, but I was like, why not? And I feel like the Spirit of God told me to add that green pepper, and I did, and I loved it. I can't even imagine this dish without that green pepper. That's how good it tasted. Add the scent leaves for flavor at the end and allow it to cook for just 1 minute, and then your food is ready. This is such a beloved recipe on this channel, and if you haven't tried it, please do so. I hope you love the compilation I put together of all my favorite potato recipes. Please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!